Kia ora. It's me and the knee. I've been reminded that it's been a little while since I've done one of these, so I figured I should do a little update. It's been a big week. This week I've been promoted to being allowed to use the big stationary bike, which has been quite daunting. So that's been sitting in the house for a couple of weeks now, waiting for me to be able to flex my knee enough so that I can actually get onto it. And I did it. Did a full rotation, which felt awful. It's just so stiff and tight, and there's just a lot of scar tissue that's already taken hold, and so it doesn't feel great. But I'm told that as I gain more momentum, more time, that things will start to ease up and feel a bit better. So that's progress. Knees, I mean, the walking is still slow. Like, I guess the overall thing that's frustrating is that yes, I am making progress, and it's millimeters of progress every week. Like, it's not huge things, and this progress that I'm getting is not. The thing that I'm finding frustrating is the Groundhog Day that is my life. Now, my life pretty much consisted of sitting at home, either on the bed or on the couch, and then I do my rehab, and I'm doing that religiously, and I'm bloody well, like, determined. And yes, I am making progress with it. Whilst the progress is very small, I'm not making massive leaps and bounds. I'm not the baby steps that I'm such a beginner level when it comes to doing the exercises. So I know that I've still got a long way to go, but it's just that these changes aren't getting me any closer to being independent and getting out there. That's the frustrating thing. I know in the long haul it will be, but it's just the mindset of like, this is just Groundhog Day, and when is this going to end, you know? Like, if it was a matter of, okay, you've got 4 months of this, and then it'll be, you know, you can walk and you can go outside. I'd be like, sweet, okay, 4 months. But it's just all so uncertain. The other fun thing that's happened is New Zealand has gone back into some form of lockdown for the foreseeable future. So my physio appointments are now being held via Zoom, which I had my first one today. So again, another new thing. It's really hard because the physio is mainly trying to get muscle growth and activation, primarily in my quad, which is the one that's had the biggest atrophy. So what she basically does is get a nice blood pressure cuff around my leg, pump it up, and basically tourniquet my leg, and then get me to do some quad exercises to try and get some metabolic growth of that muscle. So obviously we're trying to set up something similar in the house, but obviously I'm quite limited with what we've got. So trying to do that. So kind of we've got a setup, but it's obviously not going to be as good as what she had. And then she spends a good portion of time just releasing my calf. My calf is super tight and unrelenting, and that's the one that's given me the biggest hindrance in terms of trying to walk. So at this stage, whilst I can get my fat foot flat on the floor, as soon as I try and push to move forward, my heel just springs straight back up again. Like, I'm not able to get like a fluid heel toe motion when I'm walking. So my calf is really limiting that. So not being able to see the physio is going to mean that I'm quite limited in what I can do in terms of keeping my calf happy. We had a period where I didn't see her for an additional 2 days in between visits, and I noticed a huge difference in how my muscles were feeling. So it's going to be interesting seeing what happens going forward. I'm just really nervous that this is just going to delay recovery for me. I mean, the recovery is already so freaking long as it is, but I just feel nervous that this is going to push things back even more. Yeah. Supposed to be seeing the specialist again on next Friday, so we're kind of just, everything's up in the air at the minute in terms of what's happening with that. So whether that goes ahead, or whether I see them over online, or if they're going to do any imaging, I don't really know. So hopefully find that out. I'll hopefully find the answers there next week. But yeah, just really getting into Groundhog Day. Trying to keep the brain stimulated is challenging. My tolerance for hardship, or not hardship, my tolerance for like any sort of difficulty is like a big old zero. The slightest thing will just like set me off. Like the other day I was trying to put pants on and my foot was getting caught in the trouser leg and I just cried because it's just so frustrating being so, I don't want to say crippled because we kind of use the term crippled jokingly, but crippled. Yeah. It's definitely been a challenge mentally. There's a lot of things I'm trying to like process in my brain that I don't really want to get into on here because it's a bit personal, but in terms of this recovery, and whilst there's a lot of things physically that I'm trying to do to get myself better, mentally it's quite challenging because, you know, going for a walk, getting fresh air, going out to a beach, all of that's a big no. My face-to-face catch-ups with people was such a huge like thing that I could do, and that's obviously now up in the air in terms of lockdown. So I feel like I'm kind of like grieving for the like tiny little bit of like life that I had. And I guess everyone's probably feeling in a really similar situation, quite anxious about all the uncertainties and unknowns. And I'm sure that I'm not the only person, and there are people in very similar situations. So playing my violin as per usual on that regard. But yeah, the recovery is the same. So yeah, the minute I'm up to about 30% weight bearing now, which is good. Supposed to be up to 50 by the time I see my specialist next week, so I'm not sure I'm going to be there quite there, but that's progress. I'm on the big bike, so I'm starting off with the mini bike, loosening up my leg, getting on the big bike twice a day, working up to about 15 to 20 minutes. So doing that, doing my calf raises, hamstring curls, quad extension things. There's no difference in that, just keeping on with doing that. Doing my tens machine, still, God, I hate that machine, but still doing that. Yeah, that's just kind of the latest that I've got. I don't really know what more to say other than it's Groundhog Day, majorly. So if anyone's got any things that they recommend, I've got a whole bunch of books that I think I've read about 18 books now. But I've got a few more to get through. So any books, especially audio books, I downloaded Audible. So if anyone's got any audio books that they recommend, let me know. I'm kind of over TV. Like, it's just not really doing anything for me. So unless it's amazing, I don't really need to know about it. I've learned to do a few hobby things. I've done a couple courses online, trying to keep the brain busy. But yeah, if anyone can recommend anything, any podcasts, I'm all about that. Please let me know. But yeah, I guess I'll just sign out. Bye.